and today I'm going to show you how I'm going to lay weed membrane in order to prevent all the bracken and things coming back up next year. As you can see, now the site is cleared. It's absolutely huge, much bigger than I first anticipated, to be honest. It's really important at this stage to cover up any roots that have been left over. So you can see here, this is root from the bracken that was here, and I do not want this coming up. So I'm going to cover it with weed suppressant membrane, which is this stuff here. I got it from lovegardening.com. And that's going to block out any light, which is going to stop this photosynthesizing or anything regenerating, which is my priority. I'm going to cover it for the whole of winter. I've got some metal pegs that I'll put it down with, and then rocks as well, because it's quite a windy site. So I really want to make sure it's secure and blocking out any sunshine. That is imperative. So you can see this is really nice and thick, and it will prevent any light from getting in. It's also really tough, so any brambles and things like that that want to grow through, it will be good at keeping them in check and keeping them down until they die off. It's also used by professional gardeners all over the place, and it's really easy to use. I'm getting there, just about. Still a fair way to go, but getting there. This stuff is not only brilliant for big jobs like this, it's also great if you have a garden and you want a low maintenance garden especially. You can put this down and you can plant through it. So it's just a matter of cutting through the membrane, just cut a bit of a cross. That's what I would do, maybe 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres. Lift back the membrane, plant through it, and then use those flaps to kind of tuck underneath the base of the plant. Then you can mulch with something like a gravel or a chip bark, and it will mean that the weeds all around the planting that you've put in will not come up. They can't get any light, so therefore they can't grow. So it will really suppress them and keep them down. So it's brilliant for things like that. It's also really useful on allotments. I know this is plastic, but it does have a lifetime of uses. So I will use this time and time again. If you have an allotment and over winter the beds are empty, covering it in something like this, a weed membrane, will mean that you don't get the weeds coming up and you've got a nice, clean, fresh bed come springtime. So it can be used for many different things, and it is incredibly useful for things like putting under sheds. It does have many uses, and it will last years and years to come, so you can constantly reuse it. And like I say, you've seen it is really easy to lay down. Now I want to start securing it all down the line and making sure that both pieces of membrane overlap, so one goes slightly on top of the other, and that means that there's no gaps in the middle where the sunshine can get through. Okay, I'm using these pegs or pins that I got from lovegardening.com to secure it in place, and like I said, I'm overlapping the two pieces, and it's just simply a matter of pushing through. And that went all the way in first time. I can't quite believe that, because every other one I've put in has hit a rock or a boulder that I've had to dig out. So that was a blooming fluke, if ever I did see one. So I'm putting these in about every 6 to 8 feet, making sure they're really nice and secure. And then in between, I'm also adding rocks and boulders in between those. So I've got a fixing around every 4 or 5 foot. You don't have to be precise about it, just as long as, like I say, it's nice and secure, no wind's going to lift it up, and there's no chance of sunshine getting through. And it's just a matter of going down the line now and making sure it's all fixed in place. So as you can see now, I've got most of the membrane down. It's been quite a task, but it's going to do a great job at keeping anything from growing back through. And then it's on to the next stage, which is measuring the space and designing the space. So that will be my next progress update. For more how-to videos, visit lovegardening.com. And if you've got any ideas for other videos you would like to see, do get in touch with our media team.